Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. It is November 19th. I'm Lauren Conlin. Welcome to Los Angeles Magazine. This is our second live stream. So I'm excited. I like doing these, and I hope that you all will enjoy being here as we discuss two cases today that I have just been really perplexed by, I guess. I should also make a banner right now. I swear I am prepared for this, but I was a few minutes late because number one, I was actually finishing an interview with Lizzie Kaplan, the actor. She's amazing. Oh my gosh, I just showed my 9-year-old Mean Girls for the first time. That probably wasn't the best, but I fast forwarded a lot of things. But no, she has the third installment of Now You See Me coming out, so she's promoting that. So I interviewed her, and then I was finishing up an article just to catch everybody up on the Patrick Beverley case and what's happening right now. So let me just make gonna make a banner. Patrick Beverley case, criminal case. Here we go. All right. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get into, oh my gosh, the really sad story of Anna Kepner. And Kepner, I'm so bad at saying that name, Kepner. Kepner, she was an 18-year-old girl that was on a cruise ship with her family, and it departed from the in Florida. And basically she was in between the Caribbean and Miami, and she was found deceased. So there's some new information that came out, and there was a new affidavit that I was able to get a hold of that her stepmother filed through an attorney, and it's giving us some new information and possibly telling us what may have happened to her or who may have been involved. But it's also important to note that we don't have an autopsy yet. So I want to start here though with the Pat Bev case, because, hey, Derek, good to see you. So the Patrick Beverley case is developing, and he is innocent until proven guilty. And as of right now, he's unindicted. So these charges, or this one charge, which is a third-degree felony, assault on a household member or family member, impeding circulation or breathing, this has not gone before a grand jury. So I did report in an article yesterday on lamag.com that he does have a hearing on December 15th, but the hearing, and I'm not sure, but normally if something like a case like this is unindicted, but he was in jail and he was held and then he was released on bond, he's got to adhere by a lot of these release conditions. So I have a feeling that this hearing is just checking in to make sure that he's not drinking, that he hasn't, I think he can't go within 1,000 feet of his sister. Actually, I can pull it up for you in a minute. Yeah, he can't go 1,000 feet within his sister. He can't have weapons. But if you think about it, if he didn't have resources and money, I mean, he would still be in jail. There's a lot of people out there that can't post a $40,000 bond. So yeah, he obviously has the money, so he's out and he has conditions to adhere by. So hopefully, all goes well for him and he doesn't violate those conditions. But his attorney, we're going to go through the affidavit, but his attorney put out a statement yesterday, and I thought it was, it was a pretty shocking statement to me. You know what? Let's just pull it up, because I did put it on my X. And, I say it's shocking because we went over the probable cause affidavit, which was drafted by someone, I have his name, but one of the officers at the Fort Bend Sheriff's Office in Texas. And look, here's the thing. We already know that one mistake was made here in that report. And I had tweeted about this yesterday, and we'll get into it. But the sister's boyfriend is not 18. He is 17. And this was posted yesterday by user Beyond Average Mick. Mick is great if you don't follow him already. He was sent something that was a criminal trespassing warrant. Look at this. I'm all over the place. I said I was going to discuss the lawyer statement, but you know what? It makes sense to discuss this first. So he posted something that was sent to him, and it was a criminal trespassing warrant, and it was signed by Lisa Beverley, and the warning was to none other than the sister's boyfriend, whose name was in the probable cause affidavit. They thought he was 18, so his name was not redacted. It definitely should be redacted because he's 17. So on this affidavit, it's scribbled out, or the warning, sorry, it's scribbled out, but you can still see his name, and you can actually see his birth date, and it's 6608, which makes him, again, 17. So there's two things there. The fact that he's a minor, okay, wow. Second of all, the fact that Lisa Beverley filed a criminal trespassing warning against him when the affidavit states that she invited him in, told him to come into her room and sit down. That doesn't really make sense to me. And yes, Derek, we're going to go through the affidavit so you can see exactly what is going on. So that was a little weird. And so actually, let me just show you what Mick wrote. Here it is. And then I was holding off on reporting it until I could contact the sheriff's office to confirm. Let me add this. Okay. So this was the tweet. It says, breaking news. I was just sent information regarding the boyfriend of Patrick Beverley's sister. He's a minor, age 17, and was born on 6/6/2008. The initial story indicated that Beverley found his sister with an adult male. Oh yeah, we'll get into that too. So this is the criminal trespassing warrant. When I emailed the Fort Bend Sheriff's Office, I asked about this. And this is not a misdemeanor. This is not any type of, felony charge, nothing like that. It's just a warning. So there's nothing in the docket or the court system about this. When I asked the PIO at Fort Bend, she had nothing to say. She said, I checked, I can't find any information. So I'm like, all right, fine. So then let me see. I was able to, you can see, everybody made fun of me, by the way, for this. His name was already out there. So yes, my scribble is horrible. The Fort Bend Sheriff's Office, clearly it's law enforcement. You can find that address anywhere. I got so much crap for that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so a twist in the Pat Beverley case. While officials wouldn't confirm whether a trespassing warning was issued, I confirmed with the sheriff's office that his sister's boyfriend is a minor and just 17 years old. And this directly contradicts Beverley's Friday statement, which was drafted by his attorneys, and claimed that the boyfriend was 18. So let's go back to that, because this right here, I mean, at the time, that was his entire defense. I mean, was the fact that, and you can see this. Everybody can see this. Patrick Beverley has no criminal record. He cares deeply about his little sister. Given when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be about his sister. However, we don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, and we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. So, okay. It's a little strange because, number one, we know that Patrick Beverley did not walk in to his sister home alone with an 18-year-old man. We know now, per the probable cause, that Lisa Beverley, Patrick's mother, called him to come over when she found out, or when she realized that his sister snuck out of the house. So right there, that's a contradiction. And number two, he says, he kind of crowdsources here and says, look, I found my sister with this 18-year-old man. I did what any man would do. Okay, well, that right there, that was kind of, in my opinion, that was his sort of defense, and him sort of kind of explaining to us making excuses for his actions just a bit. That's how I took it. So I was like, okay, this is getting interesting now. I mean, this kind of torpedoes things. Also, I'm going to give Pat Bev the benefit of the doubt here as well, because the police clearly messed up the age of the boyfriend. I mean, I'm not sure if they just took Lisa Beverly's word for it or Pat Bev's word for it, but they didn't seem to check. And I repulled the affidavit, and I'll share that in a minute. And his name still isn't redacted. So it's kind of strange. I feel bad for the kid. Yeah. And that's the whole thing, Derek. A lot of people thought that, oh, I'm Team Pat Bev. If I caught my little sister with a man, I would beat the crap out of that man too. Yeah, probably. I'm not promoting violence, but yeah, probably. But that's just not what went down, allegedly. So I'm also thinking that this case, well, actually, you know what? Let's go back to the lawyer statement before we go to the affidavit, because when I said I thought this was wild, I really did think it was wild, because it was a full denial. I mean, a full denial of anything happening that night. And frankly, I've never seen anything like it before. So here we go. Let me pull this. Okay. So, hey, Sal, good to see you. Thanks for joining. All right. So let's see. Okay. Now this is his lawyer, Letitia Quinones Hollins, attorney for Pat Bev. I understand that the affidavit contains some negative details. However, remember, it is only one side of the story, given at a time when emotions were high. As I've said before, we don't believe that the description in that affidavit is accurate, nor is it complete. Patrick is not a violent man and was not violent that night. In fact, he was very respectful with the authorities that night and encouraged others to do the same. He is a protector and a provider, or sorry, he's the provider and protector of his family, including his little sister and his mom. He has always looked out for their well-being and will continue to do so. I have every expectation that when all the facts are in, Patrick will be cleared of these charges. Until then, I can only ask that everyone keep an open mind and not to rush to judgment. Please remember that this is America, and in our society, Patrick is innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, correct. That last sentence is correct. Now, here's something to think about. He is the provider for his family. He pays the bills, is basically what she is saying. There are rumors right now that he may lose his job as a podcaster at Barstool Sports. So with this on the table, could there be a chance here that, his mom or his sister, they go to authorities and they say, look, we don't want to testify if it's going in front of a grand jury. We take it all back. We're not going to cooperate. Because here's the thing. Police can, and the DA's office, they can absolutely move forward with this and get it in front of a grand jury. However, if they don't have cooperating witnesses, it's going to be a bit harder for this to sort of move through the system. So this is interesting. His lawyer seems very, very confident in this statement. And I get it. This is what defense lawyers do. We understand how it works. But she is so confident here in, I guess, the way that she's saying he was not violent that night. Maybe not. But where did this come from then in the affidavit? I mean, to say that he wasn't violent and then to look at the affidavit, which states he not only choked her, but he picked her up by the neck, carried her out of the room, slammed her against walls, threw her on a couch, closed fist punched her, and the responding officer saw marks on her neck and petechia in her eyes. And I did see a post from a nurse Kim, actually. If you follow her, she's great. Nurse Kim was like, yeah, so petechia, that doesn't occur within 20 to 30 seconds. It's got to be a little bit longer. And I was like, oh my goodness. So again, allegations, but to say that he wasn't violent and then to read that is wild. So yes, Derek, I totally agree with you. He has so much to lose, but keep in mind, sorry, the fan at the top of here is bothering me. Sorry. Keep in mind, so does his family, so does his sister, and so does his mother. So at this point, if he were to get fired or let's say suspended, without pay, whatever, there's a good chance that, yeah, because they would suffer, that they're like, nope, we're not going to cooperate here. And I also kind of thought of that when I saw, if this is accurate, Beyond Average Mick, his post of that criminal trespassing warrant that Lisa Beverley signed. She eventually, it says in the affidavit, she kicked the boyfriend out. She invited him in and then said, you got to go. And the boyfriend is the one that called the cops. So that's the other thing. I mean, I get it. She wasn't going to call the cops on her son, right? That's fine. Totally get that. The sister, I don't know if she was going to call the cops, but all I'm going to say is this statement here, to make a statement like this and say that he was not violent is wild. And that indicates, or that's kind of telling me something here. That's telling me that she might know something that we don't. His attorney, she might know here that no one's going to cooperate. This won't go before a grand jury. Yeah, so that's Sal. That's exactly what I was thinking, especially when I saw this statement just so flagrantly denying everything. So with that said, let's share this tab, which is the affidavit. And it's disturbing, it's shocking, but again, giving him the benefit of the doubt here, the cop did make a mistake with the boyfriend's age. So we already know that's one mistake. Are there more? I don't know. And just, really quickly, the Antonio Brown affidavit, his lawyer also had told me very recently that he felt like there was a mistake in that affidavit because those officers said that Antonio Brown wrestled a gun from a security guard and then fired that gun. And his lawyers are saying, nope, check the footage again, never happened. He fired his own gun and it was self-defense and his gun was lawful, it was legal. So that probable cause, that's wrong. So it could happen. It totally could happen. I'm not, saying that this is like the end all be all. I'm just throwing all that out there. I like to cover both sides of everything. I just got a paper cut yesterday. It hurts so bad. And I don't need to complain, but it actually hinders so much of what you do during the day if you have a paper cut on your index finger. So sorry, I had to say that because I was typing and I was like, dude, ow. Okay. Let me go. You know what? I'm going to put my glasses on. This is such small writing. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we know in Texas, Fort Bend, Texas, November 14th, Deputy Ramirez was dispatched to this home for an assault or family violence impeding breath. Upon arrival, he made contact with the victim, identified as blank, 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 who stated her brother identified as Patrick Beverley, and she said, intentionally and knowingly assaulted her and impeded breath. She stated, now we're getting into sort of what happened and why. She stated she left her residence without permission during the night hours. Wow, a teenager snuck out. She stated she left the residence through the back door without her mother, who was identified as Lisa Beverley. And she stated she left to go to a nearby neighborhood park to see her boyfriend, identified as blank blank. And then she stated she returned home. And when she got home, her mom was awake. And she said, come in my room. So I'm reading this and I'm like, how many times did I sneak out with my friends? Not like all the time. I mean, this is not about me, sorry. But maybe once or twice. And then yes, if my parents were awake, that would make sense. They'd be like, get your ass in here. Right. So this is all checking out to me. So blank, that's the minor sister, she stated that Lisa Beverley told her to call the person she left to go see and call them to come pick her up. I find that a little confusing. I'm not sure if she's kind of like, oh yeah, bring your boyfriend here, have him face me. You snuck out. He needs to be a man and face me. I don't know. So she said, come pick her up. And then she said she stated that she called her boyfriend to come to her residence. And then she stated that her mom left to the front of the residence and then had her boyfriend, who was out there, come inside and then invited him also into the bedroom. So, yeah, she greeted the boyfriend. She brought him inside and said, come in my bedroom. So then she said that her mom called her son, Patrick Beverley, and said, come to the house and then come directly to my bedroom. So maybe she was just calling him to say, come and yell at these two. I don't know. So then minor sister stated that Patrick Beverley got to the house. And by the way, guys, I'm kind of paraphrasing some of this, just so you know. He got to the house and he began to tell her something along the lines of, what's wrong with you? In reference to her sneaking out without permission. And then she stated that Patrick Beverley grabbed her by the neck with both hands, squeezed her, and picked her up off the ground. Meanwhile, guys, he's a former NBA player, Houston Rockets. He's 37 years old. She's 15 years old. I'm not sure exactly how tall he is, but he's over 6 feet and he weighs over 200 pounds. I'm guessing this little girl is like 100 pounds, soaking wet, 5 foot, maybe even smaller. Don't know. Picked her up with both hands, or I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, it does say that. Grabbed her by the neck with both hands. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I wasn't even thinking about that. Holy crap. That actually made me kind of tingle for a minute. So yeah, both hands, picked her up, squeezed her off the ground, and squeezed her neck, causing her to feel pain. She felt as if she was losing oxygen, not able to breathe, and stated that, wow, her lack of oxygen lasted between 20 and 30 seconds. She tried to, I guess, get him by the wrist to tell him to stop. She stated that he took her out of the bedroom by the neck and to another room and then slammed her body against the walls while still holding her by the neck. She said she attempted to loosen the grip on her neck by grabbing his wrists. And then she stated that he threw her down on the sofa, stood on top of her, and then punched her one time in the left eye with a closed fist. Oh my goodness. And then she stated that her mother was inside of the bedroom during the assault. That's concerning. I'm assuming she could hear what was going on. I know when you're being choked, you can't exactly scream, but I don't know if he was silent while he was doing all these things to her. I'm guessing no. And I'm also assuming that boyfriend was probably yelling for him to stop or yelling for him to, it just seems like that would be something that he would do if he's watching this. So it says, oh, this is the weird part. Okay. And tell me if you guys think this is weird. It says, blank stated that Patrick Beverley made a statement to her during the assault to the extent that he would be the family relative to kill her. I know that the police, he is writing this down. He's paraphrasing, of course. That just seems like a weird way to put something. I'm going to be the family relative to kill you. I don't know Beverley. I don't know how he speaks on a regular basis. But I feel like a person would probably say like, I'm going to kill you, or one of these days I'm going to kill you. I don't know. I just thought that was a weird, I guess, phrasing, but yeah, maybe the officer was paraphrasing and he didn't say it like that. Then it says that Lisa Beverley told boyfriend to leave the residence and he left. Minor sister stated Patrick Beverley followed behind the boyfriend, and sister was pacing in the open room of the residence and she was told to sit down, maybe by Beverley, and then stated that Patrick Beverley returned to the residence and told Lisa Beverley and sister that boyfriend had called the police. The police said, I was able to locate markings on minor sister's neck, and I observed her to have petechia in the white part of her eyes. He placed Beverley in custody, transported him to the Fort Bend County Jail to prevent further family violence. He was booked into the Fort Bend County Jail for, assault on a family member, household, impeding breath or circulation, which again is a third-degree felony that carries up to 2 to 10 years in jail. I believe that he most likely was drug tested when he was booked in jail. And, we know all of the release conditions because I have stated these before, no drugs and alcohol, and he has to be drug tested, no contact with his sister, no weapons. Let me see if there's anything would have been listed in actually at the top of this. Let's see. $40,000 bond. No, there's nothing. Yeah, it's not here. But anyway, So I guess at this point, I've mentioned he's unindicted. We don't know if this is going to go before a grand jury or not. But if the rumors are true and he is going to lose a job at Barstool, guys, don't be surprised if mom and sister say, I'm not cooperating. That's their livelihood too. If he doesn't have a job, they're kind of screwed there. So that's, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And I get the job of defense attorneys. It's, it's their job to repel these claims. I just haven't seen, I guess, a statement like that where an attorney completely denies any type of violence whatsoever when the affidavit really goes into how violent it actually was. So I think that's why I was just like, whoa. Maybe this attorney knows something that we don't. Maybe she's been in contact with Beverley, who's like, look, I've got it under control with my mom, with my sister. Boyfriend, that's another story. I don't know if boyfriend's going to cooperate or not. However, important to note, boyfriend's a kid too. He's actually closer to, he is 17 and he remains 17, right? Because I mentioned he doesn't even turn 18 until 2026. So it's not even like his birthday is around the corner. I really don't know how they messed that up. I just don't understand. So that for now, that is, that's the skinny on Pat Bev. And, Dave Portnoy at Barstool kind of said yesterday, the report's not great, but, they're still standing by him, which is fine. I don't know if you remember, but Russell Brand, when he was accused of SA and grape, he was kicked off YouTube, I believe, or he was unable to monetize YouTube like immediately. And this was just based on allegations. So I think that Dave Portnoy, he sounds like someone that you want to work for, because if you are not getting canned when something like this is released to the public, I mean, good for you. Sorry, I have a runny nose too. I know. Is there anything else wrong with me? But I mean, and something I'll just add here that I was shocked about. I really don't know much about sports. I looked up, Patrick Beverley. I was getting a lot of flack, by the way, for calling him an NBA star. My bad. Everyone's like, oh, that's such a stretch. But one thing I noticed is people don't seem to be huge fans of him. And I saw that he threw something at the fans during one game or something like that. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, they don't seem to be fans of him. And I was just curious if there was more of a history there. He was just kind of a sore loser, which is what it kind of seemed like. So, but yeah, I will be following that case. I am so fascinated by it. And I hope his sister is okay. And you know what else? I really hope that this doesn't happen very often, or this doesn't happen all the time, I guess, because police can be called to someone's house for a domestic disturbance. And obviously it doesn't always result in a charge or an arrest. But it would be interesting to know if this had happened, in the past. So I think for now, we can close the loop on Pat Bev, and we can move on, I think, to Anna Kepner, because this is so crazy and so sad what has just sort of been unearthed about this case. But let me change the banner here. Carnival Cruise. What am I trying to say here? Carnival Cruise teen death update. Okay. So let me pull one thing up actually. So basically, let's give a rundown of what happened. So Anna Kepner, she was 18 years old, and she was found dead around 11 a.m. on November 7th aboard the Port Miami-based Carnival cruise ship Horizon as it was out to sea. She was found dead between the Caribbean and the Miami area. And she was on this cruise with family members, and the ship, oh my gosh, can you imagine it? She was dead, and they had to wait a day for the ship to return to the port. So the ship returned to the port on November 8th, with authorities removing her body from the ship, which was carrying about 4,000 passengers. So at the time, her family said, we want privacy. Like everybody was wondering and speculating what happened. I mean, I was wondering too, but I totally get it. I can't imagine what they were going through, but they were like, yes, we want privacy. And the FBI was involved because, I mean, you're on a cruise. There's not really a jurisdiction there for state cases and whatever. So of course, yeah, the FBI was involved. And also, before I get into the news, or I guess the new twist that we have here, because I did not expect this at all. I do want to point out that if you watched the Amy Bradley doc on Netflix and you've heard her brother and her parents do certain interviews, you will know that cruise ships are pretty lawless. It actually made me nervous. I've never been on a cruise before, but everybody on that cruise, like the security, they're all paid by Carnival. They're all paid by the cruise ship. So they really don't have your best interest at heart. They really have the best interest of the company at heart. So it's a little scary, when you think about that, because I remember Amy Bradley's brother was like, no, you can't let people off this ship. Or her parents were like, you cannot let people off this ship until we find Amy. And they're like, yeah, cool. No, we have a business to run. We've got thousands of people on this ship. So deal with it. And guys, I don't know about you, but if I'm on a cruise with my family and, we're not allowed off for whatever reason because somebody's missing, someone's child is missing, or somebody's in danger, I'm going to understand that. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh boy, I'm never going on I'm going to sue this cruise ship for not letting us off. No, I'm going to have empathy for this family and I'm going to deal with it, because it's just really that's crazy to me. So anyway, so yes, the newest twist here is that her stepmother, and this is weird, and I had to read this multiple times this morning and last night when I saw this, but basically an emergency motion was filed by the stepmother of Anna Kepner in Brevard County Family Court custody proceedings, and it points to federal agents possibly focusing on her 16-year-old step-sibling as part of the investigation into her death. So the motion was filed on Monday by Chantel Hudson, who is married to Kepner's father, asking for a delay in the hearing that will involve her ex-husband, who is, I'm assuming, the father of her children, who were the step-siblings of Anna. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure. I know it took me a minute. I was like, what? So she asked for a delay in that hearing involving her ex-husband because of the FBI's interest in the case. And I mean, personally, I feel horrible because I mean, she's going to be questioned in this. It's going to be clearly her own child that might be the center of this investigation, which is, I can imagine, so hard for any mother. I mean, I not to bring this into, movies and not real life. Oh, hey Anastasia, good to see you. Um but you've got those movies where it's like parents have a choice here. They can turn in their kid to authorities when they know they've done something, or they protect their kid, and their kid possibly goes down another route if their kid is guilty and they do something like this again. uh, I don't know. I don't envy any parent that is in that situation at all. But as I mentioned earlier on this stream, the autopsy is not complete yet. So we have no idea at this point if Anna's death is classified even as a homicide. I mean, it sounds like from this motion that it is. And you know what? I'll just pull it up right now, actually. Let's see. Okay. So oh nope, that's the wrong one. That's Pat Bev still. Here we go. Okay. This is the motion that was filed on Monday. And it says, the former marriage of Thomas Hudson, Chantel Hudson, which I mentioned is Anna Kepner's stepmother, comes now the respondent, Chantel husband, by and through the undersigned counsel, hereby files this motion for continuance on hearing on petitioner's emergency motion for contempt and enforcement, which is set for December 17th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. to be rescheduled, and as grounds therefore would state as follows. The undersigned counsel is the attorney of record and has been retained by the respondent in this instant action. An extremely sensitive and severe circumstance has arisen where the respondent/mother will not be able to testify at the hearing at this time. Currently, there is an investigation being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigations arising out of the sudden death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, who was found deceased on November 9th, 2025 on a Carnival Cruise. Ms. Anna Kepner, the deceased, is the daughter of the respondent's paramour, and the respondent and the minor children of this instant action were all on the cruise ship together. The respondent has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children of this instant action. The respondent's privilege against self-incrimination must be invoked pursuant to the Florida law. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or twice put in jeopardy for the same offense to be compelled in any criminal matters to be a witness against oneself. Any testimony the respondent may give, either written or oral, could be prejudicial to her or her adolescent child in this pending criminal investigation. Therefore, the respondent cannot be compelled to testify. So that's really interesting. It sounds like she can't testify in this hearing because what she possibly will say could incriminate her other child. And she just doesn't want to be put in that position at this point, which, I understand. Again, we don't know enough about this situation. We don't know enough about this case. We don't even know if her manner of death would be a homicide, accidental, an overdose. I mean, if you think about it, is it possible her step-sibling brought drugs? I don't know. And gave them to Anna, and they did them just for fun. And Anna overdosed. And I believe, I don't know if I made this up or not. I don't think I did, but she was found under the bed. I mean, it's tough. I don't like speculating sometimes, but there's a lot of things that could have happened here. And you know what? I'm going to show you a picture of her. She's so cute. I feel so sad for her and her family. Let me show you. Gosh, so sad. Where are you? Okay, here she is. She was said to have, I think she was enrolling in the military. I mean, gosh, she had such a bright future ahead of her. And it's tough. Like, again, I don't, without knowing anything, I wouldn't think that a step sibling would choose to do something like this purposely to her sister, especially while on a family vacation or cruise. But again, we don't know enough. So if I had to guess, my best guess here would be that she step sibling brought some kind of drugs and they overdose. That's my guess, but I don't know anything. I also don't know. I mean, again, like I've never been on a cruise before. I'm assuming they don't check your bags for stuff. Does anybody know that? Have you been on a cruise where they've checked your stuff? I mean, that's not a thing, right? You can bring whatever you want, I'm assuming. I just, again, it's like, what do I know? I just haven't been on a cruise. So that is a developing story that I will definitely be following. Definitely. I just feel so bad. Oh my gosh. And then you know what? Sorry, I'm making my screen. This is so weird. I'm making my screen smaller for some reason. I hate my browser. I'm using Chrome, but lately it's been crapping out on me and I'm not a big fan. But you know what? While we have time, let's also talk about David and Celeste, because I'm just going to go ahead and say something very unpopular at this point. Let me fix the banner, but I'm getting so sick of the recycled headlines, I guess. And I know that, I can be guilty of that as well. We all have a job to do. Me, I'm a reporter, journalist. I'm always writing. I want to get your attention from certain headlines, of course. But it's strange. So TMZ comes out 2 days ago. Harvey Levin's like, yeah, LAPD is not telling us anything. Hold on, let me change this banner. Oh my gosh, they say an arrest is not even imminent. It's crazy. We don't know what's going on. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, they have an LAPD source that says David is a suspect. Fine. Hold on, let me change this banner. I'm so crazy about these. I like to change the banners just in case anybody pops in, they know what we are talking about. And in case you are not familiar with the term POI, that means person of interest. So, David is now a person of interest apparently, but this is through LAPD sources. This is not through the LAPD making any type of statement themselves. Again, it just comes through just more, in my opinion, recycled headlines. So at this point, I don't understand why this is making the rounds here. Banfield covered it last night on her show. I actually was called by NBC to go on, and then they canceled last minute. And it's, I don't want to say I was glad about it, but I'm just kind of like, I don't really know what there is to add here at this point. So, and I don't mean to laugh because it's obviously not funny, but Celeste, a 14-year-old girl, was found in the trunk or the frunk of his Tesla. And I know that LAPD has to be careful with their wording, right? David is not a suspect. David is not a person of interest. Okay, no, we get it. You have to be super careful. But I think in the back of everyone's mind, you're just like, of course he's a person of interest. I mean, he canceled his tours. He came home. He transferred his homes in Texas to his mother. I mean, he hasn't made a statement. He hasn't been seen. He wiped a lot of his content. I mean, it's kind of just like, yeah, so I always kind of thought he was a suspect, but they couldn't really announce this until they had more information. And generally, the police, they don't owe us anything unless we're in imminent danger, and they're not going to announce who a suspect is. Like, are we all crazy? I mean, if you announce who a suspect is before an arrest, what are the odds that he flees or he tells possible accomplices or co-conspirators about, what's going on? It just doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, now I don't need these glasses anymore, and now they're driving me crazy, the glare. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, are we doing this again here? Are we doing this again where we're recycling headlines? David's now a suspect. Yeah, I don't see the LAPD making any official statement about this or saying, yes, this is true, until someone, maybe David, is arrested. Because guys, why would LAPD do that? Why would they put out a statement and say, oh yeah, he's a person of interest? I mean, did they arrest him? Did they take his passport? No. So I just think that is, it's just crazy that we're still doing this. And I think that a lot of people don't read beyond the headlines, and they just see, oh, LAPD says David's a person of interest, but they don't read the word source. So that's my opinion about this. And I actually put out an article yesterday. Of course, the timing, I feel like it was really overshadowed, but I put out an article yesterday with an attorney in LA that I know, Nima Rahmani, and he said some pretty interesting stuff about this case. He basically was like, look, I know that LAPD moves very, very slowly. That's like their MO here. However, he thinks that it would be a good idea for the family to put forth some kind of civil suit to see what kind of evidence that they have that they're possibly withholding from the public. And this goes, I think, to what they had stated previously in September, saying we don't even know the manner or cause of death, if it's a homicide or not. This could be, they didn't say this, but like, yeah, it could be an OD, and they may not have criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body. I mean, and I think that's when, yeah, the internet gets very upset and is like, okay, so did this 14-year-old girl, did she put herself there? And also, LAPD, when this story first broke, they had said that she was wrapped in some sort of plastic container or some sort of plastic. They said she was dismembered. I mean, we haven't gotten confirmation if she was or not, because when they put out that statement, they said, oh, no criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body. They didn't say abuse of a corpse. So yeah, what type of evidence do they have? And if anything, by Celeste's family filing a civil suit to get this evidence, that's not, they're not necessarily going to get the evidence, quickly. Obviously, these things take time, but what this could do is light a fire under the LAPD. It could light a fire under their behinds. So I thought that was really interesting. And also he made the point that I just made as well, which is like, why are you're not going to announce suspects? They don't announce suspects. They arrest the suspects. So what are we doing here? Literally, what are we doing? I can't take these recycled headlines. Like I said, they drive me crazy. But yeah, I wanted to, yeah, but okay. So misdemeanor, I hear what you're saying, but am I missing something? I did not see LAPD put out an official statement on this. It's just being reported as an LAPD source, which I'm not going to report that just yet. Again, I've not lived in a world where police are like, yes, we're looking at this person right here, until they arrest them. That's all I'm saying, I guess. I'm having trouble with that. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure it all out. I've had people send me these headlines and like, what do you think? Are you going to report on this? And I'm kind of like, well, I put out an article yesterday, again, with, the civil suit stuff and Nima basically saying why he thinks this is going so slow. I'm not going to change my headlines to somebody's random LAPD source, I guess. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think of, there was also something recent about this as well that people were getting on me for. It was actually, I think it was when I think it was something about Diddy and the White House and the fact that, they were like, there was a headline that the White House was considering a pardon. And then the Daily Mail had put out a statement and said, oh, we spoke to the White House, or a source at the White House that said that is not true. And I was checking the White House Twitter. I was, checking all of their accounts, and I was like, oh, is there an official statement? And there wasn't. So I just, I didn't report on it at that very moment because it was the Daily Mail that had their source. Not that I don't trust it, but they were just sort of combating a TMZ headline. And in my opinion, they're direct competitors. So I was like, this makes sense why, they would use their source who said one thing. And yeah, but everyone's like, why aren't you reporting on this? And I'm like, I'm just waiting. And then as soon as a larger outlet reported on it, I was like, okay, so they all must have the same White House source. So I felt good about that at that point. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, there's not many of you here, and so I do appreciate those of you who are here. We're going to keep trying this at Los Angeles Magazine. We are going to try to keep going live and covering these cases and these stories. So please, if you don't, like and subscribe right here. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think if I should just do if I should do a joint live stream with my own YouTube channel. So maybe I can bring my viewers over to LA Mag. That might be something to try because I'm not sure what to do. But in my opinion, where do I think the leak source came from in the LAPD? I mean, I don't know. Somebody clearly that works there. But also, it's, again, why I say this isn't news is because I think David was probably a suspect the entire time. How could he not be? They're just not allowed to officially say that somebody's a suspect in my experience. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, somebody just leaked information, and maybe that was to shut the internet up, because let's be honest, we can all be dummies sometimes. So if we read something like, oh, okay, great, the LAPD confirmed it, even though it's a source, even though LAPD didn't put out a statement, even though no arrests have been made, sometimes people just want the headlines to feel better. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, really? Oh, and Derek, thanks for being here and yeah, participating. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing these. I'll talk to myself, don't worry, regardless if there's an audience or not. I think I'm going to do another one on Friday as well. So I'll make sure to let everybody know to jump on with me on Friday. Oh my gosh, I hope that my kid, no, he will be. His fever broke today. My kid has been home. He's been sick since Saturday. He's been literally in my room, like quarantine. I swear he has like bed sores. It's gross. No, I'm just kidding. But no, his fever broke today. So without fever reducers, he is going back to school tomorrow. Oh my gosh. And then I can tend to like my paper cut. No, I'm just kidding. I can take care of myself now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I know this is just not very happy or positive content. But I am trying to approach this from, a sensitive perspective, but also I can be sort of called out sometimes because my natural demeanor is pretty upbeat, I guess. But in no way am I ever making light of any of this stuff. And thank you so much, Janet. And thanks, Derek. And Derek, oh my gosh, I hope your little man is doing well. Derek has a new baby. He's so cute. Cam, oh my gosh, so freaking cute. I'm sure you're not sleeping at all. Oh my gosh, it's the worst. I remember that. But like also, I remember it being really like a lot easier with my second kid because I was less uptight about schedules. And like my first, I was like, oh, I need her to nap. I need her to sleep in her own crib. And then by the second kid, I was like, I don't give a crap. Like I would just sorry, gosh, are you good, babe? Sorry, he scared me. It's okay. It's okay. Why do you always scare me? Are you okay? Okay. Yep. Okay, I'll tell you how to spell a word in a second. You guys, I can't. Why does he do that? It's not even nighttime. I don't know if any of you guys remember the stream that I was on with Defense Diaries and Publicly Buzzed, but yeah, we were doing a Koberger stream and it was 10:30 at night, and little dude popped in and I screamed. They thought I was being like hacked. Yes. Anastasia, seriously, sneaky. Yeah, no, oh, he's attached to his mommy. Well, lucky you, but poor Erica. But yeah, no, I remember, yeah, second kid, I was like, no, you're just gonna sleep in my bed. We had one of those like DockATot things, whatever. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. I hope that I also shed some light on these cases and what's going on for you guys, because I know that this also helps me, because I do plan on writing about Anna later today. And I should have an update on the Patrick Beverley story that I already filed up this morning. So it should be out soon. And yeah, I'm sure I'll cover a lot more as the day goes on. But anyway, again, please like and subscribe to this LA Mag channel. We are trying so hard to grow it. And I think, oh, you know what else? I think there's a Mark Sanchez hearing tomorrow. I may stream that in the morning. Let me look into that. The last hearing that I streamed was like 4 minutes long, and it was scheduling. I do know that Mark won't be there, but his attorneys will. So I'll look into that. So there is, okay, cool. There is. Yeah, last time it was such a waste of a stream. I felt really bad. I was like, oh. Anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to go and start to write about poor Anna. I hope justice is served, and I hope her family is eventually going to find some peace. So, all right. Thanks again for being here. I will talk to everybody later. And like and subscribe to LA Mag.